Okay, so that website thing didn't go off so well, but no worries, it'll be up and running by the end of November.
It will take until the end of November for an optimally functioning website.
By the end of November, the site will function effectively for the vast majority of the American people who use it.
So based on our analysis, we will have it fully functioning by the end of November.
And by the end of this month, we anticipate that it is going to be working the way it is supposed to. All right?
And now it's December. Hello and welcome to Justice. I'm Judge Jeanine Pirro. Thanks for being with us tonight. That November 30th date has come and gone, and the White House proudly asserts that healthcare.gov website is largely fixed. Now we find out that when you call to ask about the healthcare plan you signed up for, you find out your insurance company doesn't even know who you are because they don't have a record of your enrollment. And even according to that sycophant gray lady, the New York Times, the system is sending insurers inaccurate information. Can you imagine? You're having an amputation, and your records tell your doctor to cut off the wrong leg. Or you're having surgery, and they have the wrong blood type. But hang on to your hats, guys. There's another big lie by those purveyors of fantasy in the Obama administration about to be exposed. After the original big lie was exposed, we were told that we'll have better health care and people with pre-existing illnesses would be covered. Now, I really want to believe that. But every fiber of my body tells me Americans are going to suffer because of this grandiose scheme sold to us by a president who not only lied in the selling of it, but who thinks he knows what's good for us. Exhibit number 1. Maria Silva, a stage 4 terminal cancer patient. You've seen her. She's been on Justice several times. She was dropped from her insurance plan right before her next scheduled round of chemo. When she went to her doctor, she was informed that since she now has no insurance, she's no longer eligible for any life-extending or life-saving treatment like chemotherapy. But hey, there's always a silver lining. They gave Maria a $5 parking coupon to use on her next visit to her doctor in case she needs to get more bad news. Maria wants new insurance, but she hasn't been able to get on healthcare.gov. She's tried to make phone calls to get new insurance, but she can't even reach anyone. And there's not a navigator in sight. And so she waits. Now, Mr. President, with all due respect, that pre-existing illness thing, she's got it. And now, because of you, she's got no insurance and she's got no life-saving treatment. Are you proud of yourself? How many other Americans in this country who have pre-existing illnesses like Maria have lost their insurance and are in limbo? How many veterans? How many retired individuals? How many in the middle class are facing the loss of medical care or the loss of everything they've ever worked for because you had a harebrained scheme that you were simply not competent enough to execute? How many people like Maria are scrambling to find insurance in this deadly game of beat the clock? How many people who've lost their health insurance because of you, like Maria, are trying to find someone to give them the medical care that they need to save their lives? But you're not worried. According to you, only a few Americans will lose their health care. And your chief minion, Mr. Integrity himself, Jay Carney, that truth-saying man of honor, says, don't worry, be happy.
That's the universe we're talking about, 5% of the population. And I think it's important to know that because in some of the coverage of this issue in the last several days, you would think that you were talking about 75% or 80% or 60% of the American population.
Mr. President, you really allow your staff to go on national television to tell us to our faces not to worry? It's only about 5% of you who've lost your insurance and are possibly in this limbo? So now 15 million people, we shouldn't worry about their losing their health care. Maria Silva is someone that I'm not willing to have lose her health care. Are we Americans that expendable to you and your staff? Only 5%? What if in those 5% were your mother or your sister or your child caught up in the limbo of no health care that you created and sold to us? And another lie. In trying to sell your plan, you said illegals will not be covered.
Does your plan cover the estimated 12 million or so illegal immigrants in the country?
It does not.
Why not?
Well, because I think we've got limited resources.
Agree with that. But then you doubled down, and in your doublespeak, you said, I'd like to create a situation where we're dealing with illegal immigration so that we don't have illegal immigrants. Let me see if I get this. You want to deal with illegal immigration without illegal immigrants, and then they get health care? Really? How are you going to get rid of illegal immigrants? What are you going to do? Fly them home? No, you're going to make them legal and then give them coverage. The truth? They're going to sign up for Medicaid and they can't be refused. They already get housing, Section 8. Their children are educated in our schools. They're eligible for social services. They're entitled to lawyers. And you really want us to believe that we're not going to be paying for the health care of an additional 12 million people? If we're not paying for it, who is? And might that not also include your dear Uncle Omar Obama, who's here illegally, arrested for drunk driving? You know, the one who told police right after his arrest his one call would be to the White House? The same White House that subsequently said that not only did you not know this guy, but you'd never even met him. Then, shock. Barack Obama actually lived with this Uncle Omar for a time when he was in law school, and then they kept in touch. And you wonder why more than half of America says that you are not honest or trustworthy. Mr. President, lives are at stake. Americans have been thrust into a danger zone by you. Maria Silva is only one person whose chemo treatment was canceled along with her insurance. How many other Americans will suffer because your policy caused them to be dropped from their health care? So what's that you were saying about people with pre-existing illnesses being covered? I think not. I know Maria Silva has a pre-existing illness. I know she is no longer covered. I know her life is at stake. And I know you did it. Mr. President, the clock is ticking. And after the break, Dr. Ben Carson will weigh in on the administration's latest Obamacare lies. And vote in tonight's Insta poll. The president says Obamacare is fixed. Can we believe him? Facebook or tweet me at Judge Jeanine.